Warning, the show may contain some crude humor and mild swearing. Listener discretion is advised. This show is produced by Geek Happy Network, constantly curious about the things we love. If you enjoyed listening to Smörgåsbord, remember to subscribe to the show on Spotify, YouTube, or on your favorite podcast app. Remember to leave a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. This is Smörgåsbord!
Welcome to Smörgåsbord, a show where we explore the rituals, myths, and all things strange about the world of food. I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Hi here.
Hi here. I'm Mick, and here's my co-host,
Angel.
And we are the dynamic duo, neither here nor there. And today we're joined by Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hi here. Hi there.
Phil, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? What's your favorite food? What do you do?
Favorite food? Well, I'm a filmmaker. Favorite food? Let me think.
Phil, by the way, Phil has legendary crafty.
That's true.
Any set that Phil is at has like the best snacks.
Yeah, with crafty being film set food, try to snack it up because I like to eat.
And he shares that with
There's
everybody.
a good variety of like healthy and not healthy snacks on Phil's sets.
Snacks or sex? That was kind of weird.
Snacks. But I do have a lot of snacksidents on Phil's sets.
That's true. This is true. I'm kind of obsessed right now with spin dip. So I've been trying to hack a good spin dip. But
what is spin dip?
Spinach dip. Yeah, just because.
Get with the times, man.
Sorry, I thought it's
you
like
have
dip.
to abbrev things.
Yeah, you can't just have the chips dry, right? So
Right.
I've been like adding cheese to it, and you know.
Ooh. A good warm cheesy spin dip.
A lot of these things we eat at crafty or even at parties, we're not going to be able to share it anymore.
No.
You know, because you're touching it and then you're dipping it, and some people double dip.
It's okay. I don't like sharing anyway. So
you like stealing?
I like to show up with my own Tupperware and just like hoard.
Yeah.
Such a Filipino answer to have like a dip or a sauce as like your favorite food.
Yeah.
Sauce is food.
Yeah.
Sauce is life for the Filipinos.
Yeah, sauce. Everything is sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce. Gotta have your sauce.
Well, today we're going to talk about something very similar, which is isaw, or grilled intestines of chicken or pork. A lot of this is a very common street food in the Philippines, which often comes with really good dips, which are called sawsawans. Unlike some of the strange meals that we've covered on this show, like ptarmigan poop or virgin boy eggs, which we just recently covered.
Ptarmigan poop.
A lot of these dishes are like very uncommon dishes to the country, usually like specialized to specific local areas or it's just like some religious ritual or whatnot. When it comes to isaw, the grilled intestines of animals, this is actually a very popular street food dish in the Philippines that can be found almost everywhere in the country and consumed by almost every Filipino for pretty much any occasion, really. Phil, did you ever try isaw?
I haven't, not off the street. I'm too scared. Like we saw some things off the street, and I think my stomach is just too delicate. I did have when we were in Bicol, where we shot a movie, kind of like in a little bit about 9 hours south from Manila.
Right.
We had the grilled bananas and
ooh, yes.
yeah. There
Banana
was
cube.
also some when we were at Caramoan, which is where they shoot Survivor.
Right.
There was like grilled fish every day. So you know, with a fresh cooked coconut, you can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, today we're going to cover obviously isaw, but I'd wanted to begin the episode talking about the Filipino street food and just the different kinds of street food we have in the Philippines, and then we could talk a little bit about how to make isaw, then we'll wrap it up for the day. So the history of isaw and Philippine street food roots all the way back to the colonial period of the Philippines under Spain, like almost everything about the Philippines. Under Spanish rule, Filipinos were considered second-class citizens, so meat wasn't really available to the Filipino people. Most of the meat obviously just went straight for farmed by the Filipinos but served to the Spaniards back then. So to stay alive or to have some kind of meat option, Filipinos would live off eating parts of the animals that the Spaniards wouldn't dare to eat, like the intestines, the lungs, the livers, or what we would call today offal meat.
Awful. I learned that word from this podcast.
Yeah, well, what were we doing at Offal as well? Just
I don't remember, but I just know I didn't know that word before.
So these organs became a key source of meat for Filipinos as they learned to treat and clean it for consumption, because a lot of offal meat usually requires proper cleaning to consume, right? Because then you don't want to have waste or bacteria or even pathogens.
The poopies.
Exist in your mood. Yeah. But as the Philippines gained independence and grew economically, these dishes decreased in popularity, but street food remained. Now, instead of offal dishes being served in the streets, you'd find different kinds of meats now, like barbecued meats. So that's how we birthed barbecue in the Philippines, like the Filipino barbecues, which is so delicious.
I wish to experience this in real life.
Have you never had Filipino barbecue yet?
Not authentic enough, I don't think. So...
But you've eaten Filipino food in Vancouver, right?
Yes, in Vancouver.
I think we might have ordered sisig, which is...
Yeah.
Technically like a street food.
Technically.
Yeah. That is served.
But I also would like to experience it in the setting, too.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have a pretty good recipe for Filipino barbecue. It's one day we'll have you guys over and we'll have a Filipino barbecue with Filipino barbecue. It's really hard.
Filipino barbecue with Filipinos.
The dish itself is called barbecue, so it's like street food is kind of very wide. I wouldn't say it's as wide as Taiwan. I think has a really intense street food game as well. But usually
I can attest to that one. I've gotten many different kinds of cholera. Maybe not cholera, but
right.
Something similar.
Yeah.
The shoot poops.
Yep.
The poops.
The street food poops.
Yeah.
The shooters.
Yeah.
The molten shooters.
But I would say, in my opinion, when it comes to street food in the Philippines, you could kind of divide it into two different kinds of street food. There's the cart-based street food, which is just people carrying their street food with them and walking down the streets. And there's the kind of restaurant-like street foods where they're just little houses or sheds or huts or whatever that serve full meals and full dishes. Today we'll focus more on like the street food of vendors with carts or random things that they carry around that you could pick up, because that's, I think, you really have such a cool diversity of different kinds of street foods. So the resurgence of offal dishes, though, when it comes to street food, came in the 70s when the Philippines hit another economic crisis. Likely because people couldn't buy meat anymore or meat became expensive, then a lot of these offal meats became something that people could cook again. Now, while most of the Philippines do still live in poverty, the popularity of these offal meats continued to exist and become popular amongst all Filipinos, as you could find it all around today. It's kind of crazy when you go in the Philippines, like obviously it's not a developed country, so there's a lot of poverty in the Philippines. So even anywhere you go, if you're not in a gated village, you'd find a lot of people in the streets, and there's a lot of food culture there. If you don't have a strong stomach, it's usually suggested for you not to eat a lot of these foods because there's not a lot of sanitation or health guidelines when it comes to making this food. But if you could stomach it, I don't know, some of these guys are really good at the food they make.
I feel like if you live there, you're probably more immune to some of the bacteria that might be found.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
wouldn't react as violently.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, even as a kid, when I grew up, like my mom always told me not to eat the street foods, but like I was a big fan of the fish balls and the sauces that come with it, so I just kept buying it. It's like,
okay, fish balls are great though, so Mom, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the balut? Did you try balut?
I do not like balut.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Not a fan. It's too salty for me.
It's very salty. It's like the egg embryo, like half
duck egg.
half grown. Yeah.
Does it have bones?
Sometimes
Does it have
bones.
a beak?
No. Sometimes bones or beak. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
My friend bit one and he picked a feather out of his teeth.
Oh.
It's not like, that's not a good balut. Like a good balut wouldn't have any of those things.
So they plucked it too ripe.
Too ripe.
It's too ripe.
Too
overripe balut. Because Phil, you've been to, like, I know you're of Filipino descent, but you've been to the Philippines too, right?
Yeah, just a couple times in my later adulthood, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I just never had any interest to go, but especially the last trip where I actually shot a movie, and it was we really went out to the country as opposed to staying in Manila, which is nutso. You can really, you feel it's a lot simpler, so you can go to the wet markets, which are like probably a little scary for people from North America to see.
Right.
Because, it's just like food and flies flying around it and like blood everywhere. But, then there's also a lot of the little stalls or, we'd always get like a Orange Crush equivalent,
Yes.
at the little, I forgot the name of it, but it was market stores, I guess you call it, little corner stores that are like basically a hut.
Yeah.
And it's on the middle of a road, beside a train track. It's just this little hut, and you'd have that with
cute.
you'd have that with some barbecue or sisig or whatever, right?
Did they serve the Royal or Orange Crush in a plastic bag?
I was too scared, but they did. Yeah,
In a bag?
plastic bag.
With like a straw?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
Yeah,
like, do you just like
you just poke it.
funnel?
I was a little
like-
too scared.
Oh, it's like a Capri Sun.
Yeah, kind of, but more ghetto, like clear plastic flag sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like definitely local.
I think the reason for that is because the bottles itself can be recycled, so you get a deposit back from it. So a lot of these vendors would just pour the bottle into a bag so you could have it, and they could keep the bottle so they could return it.
Oh,
to get
okay.
Smart. But
And you get the fun of poking a straw into a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you appreciate street food, there's definitely, you can get turon and any kind of, every kind of fruit is fried.
Yep.
Is fried in some sort.
So that's a big part of what it is when it comes to the Philippines. Is food is really life for us, even though it's a very impoverished country. A lot of, even if you go to the main city, you'll see there's so many different varieties of restaurants. I've heard stories about chefs from around the world would come to the Philippines and try to open up a restaurant there just to test different flavors out, because Filipinos just eat and they're so driven by like fads and everything. So a restaurant would open and close within months. Like every time I visit, there's like a new restaurant that's popular. I wouldn't say it's the same thing for the street food culture, but it definitely is a testament of how obsessed we are with eating.
Yeah, there's definitely almost a collector mentality, my uncle always say select and collect,
Yeah. Like, have you tried this? Have you tried this?
Yeah, and in the mall there'd be everything from big chains to their own version of a big chain. For example, like a Fat Burger or a
For sure. And that's a fantastic thing about Filipino food. Really, is it's so. It's anything really. I mean, you could say that almost about Filipino culture too. It's just because it's so many different cultures mixed into one. It's hard to tell what would define Filipino food or Filipino people. So you could just kind of plug them in anywhere.
I think a defining trait is flavor and actually having flavor.
Yes.
Whereas like North American cooking, I would say it would be the lack of flavor is their signature.
Well, more subtle.
Yeah, more
Like
subtle for sure.
The palate is more subtle. Like if you think about Filipino food, think about something that's either super sweet, super savory,
or both.
Or super
sour.
Personally, like my theory is that the place is so damn hot, you can't taste anything.
Yeah.
Just your own sweat.
So they just crank it, like
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the one thing you really have to keep in mind with street food. It's really food you eat with your beer, which is usually a San Miguel or a Red Horse beer. I think the term inuman is a really big part of the Philippines, which is really just to drink. It's very different here. What I found that inuman drinking for the Filipino people, it's it's a mixture. It could be you go out to a bar, get drunk, but it could also just be you just have unlimited booze on your hand as you talk and chill with your friends and listen to music. And that's something that I found was so much missing here in North America. That I miss those days of just inuman where you don't really care what's going to happen today. You're just going to talk and chill forever. Like my cousin and I did it when I visited. We just went to a different bar every time and we just got a drink. And it wasn't even the drinking that was the big part of it. It was just, we were just hanging.
Yeah, just sitting around.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's almost like we try to get drunk so we get hungry enough to keep eating.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's why I think there's also such a fascinating variety of food when it comes to street food. Like we'll just cover a few things here. It's a mixture of different things from sweet dishes to savory dishes. When it comes to sweet dishes, there's dirty ice cream, which is just really just ice cream. Apparently it was inspired from Japan, where Japan had like ice cream in the streets. So
how dirty is it?
It's
Tell
just
me
I think
about
I mean I grew up I thought it was just called dirty ice cream because it's just ice cream off the streets. Like it's not pure clean
You
ice
literally
cream. You know?
pick it up on the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
here's some dirt.
Yeah, like someone
some
makes it
cream in
there. Halo Halo is another one that you can find in the streets. It's not really common, but it is there.
I like halo.
Which is just a mixture
Except for
of
the
different
beans.
things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like Halo Halo just means to mix.
To mix, yeah.
So
It's all
Halo Halo
mix.
is just a smorgasbord of different
Yeah.
things. and
Mix. Yeah.
Shaved ice and milk is the key ingredient there, and sugar
Yeah.
actually.
It's
Actually,
basically like take all the Taiwanese desserts and throw them in.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
One bowl.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my favorite Halo Halo was the one where I didn't put anything. It was just evaporated milk.
That's
That's just
just one
ice.
hollow.
That's just
and
bubble
sugar.
tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one hollow. You don't get two hollows for that
Yeah.
one.
Taho is another one, which is essentially tofu with a sweet brown sugar sauce with some sago as well. So it's
Yeah. Tahoe.
yeah, which is more I guess like bubble tea minus the tea.
Yeah. It is. It's really good. I bring it to parties every year for
it's
Christmas. But
so good.
yeah, it's like slightly sweet tofu, and you heat it up, and it's pretty money.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
Another one which I think Phil, this is the prawn you probably ate, which is banana or kamote, which is grilled banana that has sugars caramelized with the
Yeah.
fruits.
I think I had like 3 of those in one sitting.
Yeah. So,
It's that good.
yeah. Turon is the other one that Phil mentioned. This is a fried dish where you have a banana and usually jackfruit in it as well, and then wrapped in a kind of wonton wrapper like thing, and then
Yeah.
fried, and then coated with caramelized or sugar as well. When it comes to animal dishes, we talked about balut, which is a duck embryo, which I think is a dish for another episode.
I think I
Pinoys.
saw a picture of it once, and I'm like, nope.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
for
will-
everyone.
Pass on this one.
Definitely not for everybody. Pinoys is just hard-boiled duck egg, so I guess the regular version of balut. There's also kwek kwek, which is fried quail eggs, which got its name from the sound quails make, which is
Quack, quack, quack.
Not a quack. It's a quack.
There's also tok neneng, which is the chicken version of kwek kwek, which is fried chicken eggs. And then my favorite, which is fish, squid, or chicken balls, or kikiam, which is cuttlefish or pollock.
Okay, I like
Essentially,
things
like-
in ball form.
Yeah.
I find that when things are like punched into ball form, it's
You got your carb and your fishy taste.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
Fishy
this is
taste
my
cart.
favorite cart because some guys would walk with a cart with just a propane tank that heats up the big wok of fried or of oil, and they just fry it in front of you. Then they usually have three.
oh, I
different,
love those carts. They're
Yeah,
so entertaining.
and they usually have like 3 different sauces there that you pick, and then you mix it. And I have no idea what's in these sauces. Like this is probably how you get sick is from those sauces because there's so much dipping,
Cross contamination.
triple multi dipping happening there.
Mm.
But usually there's like a sweet sauce, there's a slightly spicy sauce, and there's a kind of soy-based sauce.
Mm-hmm.
They're very syrupy. And yeah, and to finish off the rest of the street foods, there's also, like we mentioned, the offal dishes. And I love the names that they have for offal dishes in the Philippines. Just like kwek kwek, they have
Quick, quack.
just random names for it. For example, grilled congealed pig's blood is called Betamax because the blood...
What?
Betamax.
Yeah, because the blood looks like little Betamax cassettes. when
Oh,
it's served.
cute.
Grilled skewered chicken heads are called helmets.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
Grilled pig's ears are called Walkman because the ears look like the Walkman headsets.
they like to name things after electronics.
Yeah. And then
Classic ones.
grilled chicken feet, which is called Adidas. I can't remember why it's called Adidas, but it is definitely
'Cause
named
you
after
put
the shoe
Adidas
brand.
on your feet.
Yeah, probably that, honestly. And then the 3 stripes with the 3 chicken feet.
Yeah.
And
That's
then-
cute. That's cute.
Yeah. And then we have Isaw, which is what we're going to talk mostly about, which is the grilled chicken and pork intestines. Now, it's called Isaw because it comes under the word sausawan, and sausawan is dips, essentially, the dip. So I think next to rice, sausawan is probably the second most common thing you'll find in any table in the Philippines for a dish, because we eat essentially any kind of meal with rice and a sausawan. So Isaw falls under that group of food in the Philippines which we call inihaw or grilled foods. Inihaw foods can literally be any meat basted with sauce and then grilled. So even Betamax, helmet, Walkman, Adidas, they all fall under that category where you baste all of these things with some kind of sauce and then grill it and then usually dip it in another kind of sauce. So we have inihaw na baboy, which is grilled pork belly, and you usually dip that in some kind of soy sauce, garlic, and vinegar mixture. Inihaw na bangus, which is milk fish, also is the same, etc., etc. And then, isaw is just grilled pork and chicken intestines. So yeah, when it comes to sawsawans in the Philippines, it's so varied. Like, it's literally anything you dip with your food. It could be ketchup, it could be suka or vinegar. That's usually mixed with chilies, garlic, or onion. Patis is fish sauce. And then you have some kind of chili sauce. Like I said, with the fishbowl or kikiam vendors, it's a mixture of like different sweet sauces. It's usually the sauces that make the meal more than the meat itself or the dish itself. So for me, isaw, I actually owned, the first time I tried isaw was in my mid-20s when we went to Boracay for a wedding. And there was this little bar there that we were so drunk. I think we tried this, like, in Boracay, there's this bar that serves this 15-shot challenge. I was just seeing Ia at that point, but then my friends still thought I was single, so they're like, you got to do it because you're young and whatever. I'm like, guys, I'm the same age.
You're young and you have a liver.
But we're the same age. So yeah, we did that 15 shot and we just walked around Boracay.
Now, did you guys split the 15 shots or did you take 15 shots
I
by
took
yourself?
15 shots by myself with another friend. So two of us both took 15 shots. We got a t-shirt for it.
Do you still have that shirt?
I do. I use it for sleeping.
Yeah, you have to keep
that.
It
It was so gross. It was like a variety of. It wasn't like 15 of the same shots. It's 15 different kinds of shots, from like milk-based liquor to tequila to vodka to absinthe and stuff like that. It's all different kinds. It's gnarly. My friend did the strategy of just taking all 10 without thinking about it, throwing up, and then taking the rest of the 5.
That sounds awful.
By the 8th shot, I was done. I was like, screw this. But anyway, we ended up finishing all 15 and then went out to drink more beer and had isaw at the end of the night. And my God, was that so good.
Now, wait, when you say chicken intestines, chickens are kind of small. So their intestines are like, what, noodles?
Yeah, super tiny.
Okay.
So you'll see it kind of looks like brain, actually, when it's put in the skewer, because it's kind of like zigzagged into a skewer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like ramen noodles.
No. It would kind of look like it, but imagine if you put like thick udon noodles into a skewer and try to...
Right.
I think that's kind of coming over now into Vancouver, not through Filipino cuisine, more through like mainland China cuisine. Right. There's of course the night markets here, but where you can order any kind of like meat or intestine or whatever on a stick. But now they have restaurants where they do that, where you just our buddy Y Sun Chang, he took us to in Richmond. I don't know the English name, I forgot. But in any case, it's he's like, do you want to try this? And it's like intestine. Do you want to try this? And it's just barbecued on a stick, and they just have grills going the whole time. And you come out of it smelling like smoke.
Yum.
And they have, you can have some with curry on it and some with, cumin and like every strong flavors.
Cumin is like becoming one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's
but it's
good.
Also one that you sweat out the next day.
Yeah,
it smells awful.
Smell like cumin, right?
Yeah,
guys, I miss the night market. We need to go if it's going to be a thing this year, which it probably isn't going to be.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to do that.
50 people. 50 people in the stall.
There's no way. Yeah.
You have to line up
Socially
the week
distance.
before.
Yeah. I mean, how are those things going to work? Because, even in the Philippines, street food vendors, like, okay,
DoorDash, night market food.
Yeah, some of the vendors we saw were literally right beside the train tracks, built on the train tracks. Like, and they would pull their food away from the train tracks. So how are you going to do that kind of vending?
I don't know. At this point, the Philippines is still in full lockdown, right? So they haven't, I don't think they've even gone as far as figuring out what to do next. They're still trying to contain it. What's crazy about the Philippines is they've also banned liquor. There's a liquor ban in the Philippines now too.
Oh no.
Because like we mentioned, inuman is a big ass part of the culture in the Philippines. And to do inuman, you have to be with people.
Yeah.
So they just banned liquor.
And
which is smart.
Perhaps is a smart move. It sucks for the people there because it's like cutting off their lifeline.
Yeah, for sure. Like some of my uncles are like, I'm down to my last San Miguel. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man.
But that's what they do. They just hang. Yeah. It's a lot of hanging.
But if you ever want to make your own isaw at home, it's pretty straightforward. The hardest part, similar to the last episode, the hardest part of making isaw is coming to the preparation and the cleaning of it. So you really want to make sure that when you get your intestines, won't trust your butcher. Like, for sure they'll clean it for you, but you want to do your own due diligence as well as in cleaning the intestines. Just run it through some water. Make sure that there are no random wastes attached or inside the intestines before you serve it. And then after that, you want to skewer your intestines first before cooking it, because then that way it stays firm and intact. And then you could boil the intestines as well to make sure that you could make it a little bit more tender before you start grilling it. Usually you want to boil it with salt, peppercorns, and dried bay leaves, and then simmer it in vinegar after. That helps tenderize the intestines, but it also lessens the awful flavor and smell. And then after that, you could grill the skewers while basting it in some kind of sauce. The most common sauce that you use usually is soy sauce and ketchup.
That is actually a very heavenly mixture.
It's so good. Especially, was it the Maggi soy sauce?
Yes, Maggi sauce. So
with banana ketchup.
I used to have a friend that had a bottle of Maggi sauce in his locker at the warehouse.
Ooh,
At lunchtime,
nice.
he would pull it out.
Yeah, my son brings it to school. Yes, and he has those, the
Goes, what's up?
seafood flakes on top.
Nice.
You need to get him a fanny pack, like a spice pack.
Spice pack.
Spice pack.
Spice fanny pack.
That's
Neil
god
Planta
level.
has a spice one. He has
Oh yeah, that's right.
he brings it to every set. That was one thing doing, craft services on sets is I realized the importance of sauces, like even just hot sauce, right? People really appreciate it if you bring hot sauce.
Yeah. Speaking of soy sauce and ketchup, my favorite fried chicken sauce is Maggi with ketchup and curry powder.
That sounds great.
Combine those three. Really good sauce for fried chicken.
Hi there, my name is Kanyeki Kamawe, and I'm the host of the Represented podcast. No matter who you are and no matter where you come from, we each have a story to tell. The Represented podcast explores individuals' life stories with the hope that we can identify with or learn from them. Subscribe and listen to the show on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or even Spotify. You can also check us out on the Geek Happy Network website. That's geekhappynetwork.com. Finally, follow the show on Instagram at Represented Podcast to keep up with the fun stuff. Love to see you there. Peace.
And like we do with every episode, we ask the 2 favorite questions. Well, I don't know if it's favorite, but it's questions nonetheless.
It's a question.
Is it healthy or is it good? Definitely not healthy.
Especially the ones that give you food poisoning.
Yeah. But I mean, compared to other awful dishes or even other strange dishes we've had, you don't really get a lot of... no, I guess that's more of a stomach thing in the Philippines. Everyone has stuffed stomachs. And you're also drinking a lot of booze. Definitely can get sick from it, but almost always not, just to be smart about it. And also not healthy because you're usually probably drunk at this point when you eat it. But whether it's good or not, it's really good. I've never had awful... I hate awful food, actually. Like pate, I cannot stand pate. Anything with liver, intestines, I can't stand. But when I had isaw for the first time, it didn't even taste like intestines. It was just good.
It was just good.
Yeah. Like, I think the marinade was really
I'm not a
helpful.
fan of pate either.
Yeah.
Very rich, yeah.
And I think the reason why this dish doesn't taste like awful is because I don't think Filipinos like the taste of intestines. And like we said, the history of how this dish came to be was just finding a way to eat it. So they probably just found a way by just making it taste good and just getting rid of the awful flavor and replacing it with sausawan. And now I'm hungry. But anyway, that's our episode on isaw. Phil, do you have any favorite Filipino food?
Definitely, I'm kind of fiending on. I always have to get sisig. Strangely enough, which I think you've tried, Angel. I think you've tried sisig.
I don't remember the names.
It's
of
on
things,
the
which is
grill plate.
awful.
You know, like on the grill plate.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
and we mix it with a little egg, and
Yeah.
it's
Okay,
like
I like that one.
pork cheeks, or
Pig face.
different. Yeah,
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's very
Little bit-
crispy. Everyone has their own kind of spin
I
on it.
love crispy things. So
Yeah,
that-
like such a useful dish for something people don't normally eat. I'm kind of getting into dinaguan, which is like
Ooh.
the black. It's like it looks like a black, thick, soupy rice sauce.
Yeah.
did we? I think we had that one
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Okay.
very salty.
Yeah, I like that one too.
That was, and you put it on rice, and I was like, wow. When I was older kid and I found out what it was, I was like, I don't want to eat
Yeah.
that. But now coming back to Filipino food, I
Yeah.
really dig it. And then Always got to have some lumpia. Can't go wrong with lumpia.
The translation of dinuguan to English for people who don't know is to be bled on. That might give you a hint on what dinuguan has.
Nothing to waste, even from the.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the dishes too that I came to love as I grew older. Was dinuguan. I avoided it as a kid, knowing what it was, and then tried it.
Yeah, your palate changes when you get older. So.
Yeah, that's our episode on Offal. I'm excited for the title of this episode. I can't wait to write it down.
It's punful. It brings you punful.
Fantastic.
Puntapun.
Puntapunt.
It's plentiful.
Yep.
Plentiful.
Plentiful.
Punamatic.
It's awful.
That's what it is. Awfully awful.
It's an
Awfully
awful
good.
pun.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye. This is Smörgåsbord. Have a ritual, myth, or something strange you want us to explore? Send us a message through Facebook at Geek Happy Network or email us at team@geekhappynetwork.com. We'd love to hear from our fellow Smorgies. This show was created by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, hosted by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, edited by Mick Narciso and Bianca Goico, logo and graphics by Angel Lynn, music by Mick Narciso, and videography by Bianca Goico.